Hello, my friends of the interwebs. Thank you so much for being here and joining me today. Bowing down to you in this present moment and these present breaths. Today I just wanted to answer some questions that you sent in on Instagram. Follow me if you're not already. I post there every now and then. I feel like I have just been bopping around, showing up in random places, making videos, and not really providing too much more context than that. First question, I got so many questions regarding this, but what do I do for a living? How do I afford to travel so much? And I do YouTube full time. It's still really wild to say that. I started doing social media about 7 years ago consistently while working other jobs, and then eventually I got signed with a management team, and basically what they do is they just connect me with brands that are aligned with what I'm sharing, and I make money from sponsorships. They don't govern my content in any way or force me to post certain things. I have full creative control. They just help connect me with brands that I believe in, and that is how I make money. Super insane. I still can't even believe it. How do you afford to do nothing, everything except work? And I just wanted to go in on this because people do seem to get really upset when they see someone, myself included, just kind of relaxing and enjoying my life and not going to a 9 to 5, because it is a very privileged place to be, but I have also completely created it for myself. I didn't come from money. I came from a household with domestic abuse where I didn't always know if there was going to be food on the table, and I am now going to help my parents retire. So whether it's something that feels productive to you or not, I love what I have done with my time on earth so far, and I also constantly have this deeper call to do so much more, and I'm listening to that with grace and ease. So I just wanted to share that because I get so many comments about that all the time. Like, what does this girl do all day? Just think about herself, love herself. And it's like, maybe on paper that's what it looks like, but it is so much more than that. But for me, that has always been my end goal, to live a peaceful life where I can take care of my parents and give back to my community and constantly be learning things about the earth and all my various areas of study. I think that is a contribution to the world in itself, is genuinely enjoying my time here on earth and being a good person and being kind. I love all the comments that I get, whether positive or negative, because it really makes me unpack these things and be even more introspective and intentional. It definitely has built such a tough resilience in me. Having any form of judgment, who I have been molded into throughout this life, is simply a result of my upbringing and my conditioning. So I'm not even that attached to who I am being like the most right and true version. And at the end of the day, it just becomes very entertaining to be like, oh, what does this bring up in people? This archetype that I am for people. It's really liberating. Okay, I just realized that I didn't have my rings on. Where were we? I'm so curious about your process of filming and capturing content. I just wanted to share all of the gear that I use because I got a lot of questions about this. I film on a Sony FX3. It's my favorite camera by far that I've used because the autofocus is so good. I use a variety of different lenses, but usually it's a 35 to 70 millimeter. I have a Rode mic. I'm going to transition to a Sennheiser boom mic on top of the camera, and for voiceovers I've been using the Shure MV7 mic, and it's great. Peak Design tripod. It's made of carbon fiber. It's very expensive, but it is the best tripod I've ever used, and I highly recommend it. Will you ever film yoga lessons again? I'm so excited. I'm still going to make a yoga YouTube channel. I just haven't been in a stable enough place to consistently film and upload, but I'm working on that, and I have so many practices that I'm excited to share with you and do together. That does feel like the next evolution of how I want to show up online, is to just drop in with you, doing the practice and breathing together and literally calming our nervous system side by side. So I'm still so excited for my yoga channel. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and much less intimidating for a lot of people. BetterHelp lets you have therapy sessions as a phone call, a video chat, or even messaging. Whatever's the most comfortable version of therapy for you. They can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire that will ask you questions about what challenges you're going through and what kind of therapist you'd like, and then BetterHelp will match you with someone to help you. You'll be matched with a therapist in most cases within 48 hours, and you can schedule therapy sessions at any time that's convenient for you. If you feel like your therapist isn't a great fit, you can switch therapists with the click of a button in your settings at no additional cost. Join over 4 million people who've used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life. Click the link in my description box or visit betterhelp.com/hitomi for 10% off your first month so that you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And I also got a lot of questions about volunteer work since I mentioned that I've been volunteering at farms. The past 3 or 4 months I have volunteered at 3 different farms, and all of them have been through word of mouth, through friends, or when I was in South Africa, I actually spent a lot of time working at that horse farm and just learning about horses, doing free labor because I just wanted to spend time with them and learn more about their care. And that happened because I was walking down the street and I saw a man with horse reins, and I asked him if he worked with horses and if I could, volunteer, and he was like, yeah, come meet my boss. Literally that same day I started working at the farm. Maybe a little bit sketchy for some people, but I just felt safe with this person. Otherwise, I would say through word of mouth, through a quick little Google search, and being really clear on the expectations of the volunteer work and how much you can provide for free, things like that. I think because I've been so existential about my purpose in this world, doing volunteer work has really calmed this need to do more and give more. It just feels like giving back to a cause that I believe in while also learning so much about farming and agriculture. It has been so stimulating. Okay, that was a lot of lifestyle questions. I got a few on sexuality, so I thought I would answer those. What would you recommend to people who struggle to get fully open/wet when in bed with their boyfriend? Something called sexual non-concordance, where you're mentally stimulated and excited, but your body just isn't responding. And really pragmatic ways to work with this is to start with oral pleasure, because that will provide moisture and wetness down there. And also I would put like a little glob of coconut oil inside myself before making love so that it would like come out and lubricate things naturally. And coconut oil for me has really helped balance my pH, so it serves multi-purposes. And also knowing what specifically does get you wet, what specifically does bring you there. If it is an external stimuli thing, it's like, okay, when was the last time that I got so soaking wet? What was the context of that? And then communicating that with your partner. But if it is just a physical thing, I would say to do some somatic practices to release any blockages you have, any internalized shame that you have around your pleasure, desire, or your body. And then also maybe that's just how your body works, because I have some friends who their whole life they've just never really been able to get that wet, and I don't think that there needs to be any shame in that. It's just finding ways to, enjoy pleasure and sex. Have you experienced having sex with your friends in a way that doesn't ruin the friendship? I feel like this is so specific to queer relating because mostly all of my friends are queer. Mostly at some point we've had a crush on each other, or maybe there's been a curiosity or like some sexual tension. And I have made out with my friends. I have had sex with I think like 2 of my friends, and we've remained friends. And I think because there is such a deep level of intimacy that's not sexual, that having sex isn't like the peak of the intimacy that we're having. It's more of just this like pleasurable, safe, exciting experience. And it's been really easy to go back to just being friends and maybe making love every now and then, because the friendship is so strong and there's really clear communication and understanding of where the other person is at. Like my friends who I have hooked up with, we've been so clear that we just want to be friends. We want to explore this in, our sexuality in a fun and safe way, but it's not going to mean anything more, and that the most fruitful thing that we get from our relationship is friendship. And so if we had to choose between hooking up or just being friends, we'd obviously choose the friendship, but if we can have both and one doesn't harm the other, then we'll do that as well. And it's been very casual and sweet, and that baseline is just so present of we are homies. How to navigate being in a relationship with a man when you really think you're supposed to be with a woman. I would say give yourself permission to explore that curiosity. Even if you don't end up being with a woman, there's a part of you that will always be curious. Listening to the way that I want to love and the people that I want to love has felt so empowering, and it takes a lot of courage and bravery to leave something comfortable and familiar, even like compulsory heterosexuality. For example, for me, I've been in 2 long-term relationships with men because I never felt confident enough to approach the women that I really liked, and I never felt worthy enough of their love. And choosing to let myself fully embody my queerness was also me choosing to believe that I'm beautiful enough and worthy enough to attract a partner who I'm completely obsessed with, and that I'm gonna be brave enough to court women for the first time in my life and not just feel like I need to be approached by people. I hope that you give yourself the permission to do that, but at the same time, if you have found the love of your life and it's a man and you're bisexual, then just surrender to that. Like, that's not wrong either. And love is love. At the end of the day, relationships are always going to come with challenges or even doubts, and one person isn't going to fulfill every single need. So just commit to what the highest voice of love is saying to you right now. There's no wrong way to love. So if you want to be with this man, then I think that you should. If you feel like you need to prove that you're queer, or you feel like you want to do it for the, I don't know, aesthetic or something like that, then absolutely that's not worth it. But if you feel like there's so much love that you want to express and you're not able to in this current relationship, and you deeply, deeply desire to be with women, then I don't think that there's anything bad or wrong about vocalizing that and seeing how that can happen. What do you do when your yoga practice feels repetitive and like a chore? I will get a yoga studio membership. They have had really good deals. Taking a variety of different classes will re-stimulate you and reinvigorate you with the sequencing that you can do, the different asanas that you might not be pushing yourself to arrive to on your own, and is just a really great way to be more disciplined in your practice. What practices do you do to get to know yourself? I feel like every single time I go out into the world, I am learning so fucking much. I learn a lot by what triggers me. I learn a lot by where my walls of sensitivity are, or the times that I want to hide. The way that I integrate that is just by journaling a lot and reflecting, feeling so deeply into my somatic experience. Like, what gave me anxiety? Why was that? Where did that come from? Or why did I feel so insecure and shy? What were the conditions that set that up? And then doing what I wish with it. And mostly it's replicating the situations that make me feel good, or continuing to put myself in situations that feel a little uncomfortable so that I can continue to grow out of them. Like, even socializing, romantic love, dating women used to make me feel really uncomfortable, and the more that I put myself in those situations, the more safe I feel, because I'm like, oh, I'm repeatedly pushing against this edge, and I'm repeatedly learning new lessons to breathe through them and get to that other side of glory. So it really is an endless exploration. One of my favorite things about this life is that we are perpetually growing and evolving, and we can do so much if we just objectively view the information of our lives. Do you ever feel like you'll never find love again? And what do you do when you feel like that? I never feel like this. I believe that love is infinite and abundant and in every single moment, and because I am so sensitive, I feel so deeply loved in every single way by the blessings that I've been given in this life, and it is enough to fulfill me, even if it's not romantic. I do think that there is such a pressure on romantic love in this world. Of course, it's been spoon-fed to us from a very young age that romantic love and partnership is the thing that's going to completely fulfill us. It's when our life can truly begin, but I have found so much safety and belonging within my friends or within moments in nature. There are just so many people to fall in love with. I think the question isn't like, will someone ever love me again? It's just like, how many people am I going to get to love in this life? Like, how will I have time to fully show up for all of this love that I get to have? How do I want to love the people who haven't even come into my life yet? Like, how can I become a better lover? Those are the questions that I kind of ask myself, and it's really nice to reframe that in your mind, to not have any lack mentality about where this love is coming from or what it will provide, but like, how can I be of service to love in this world? It is so immensely fulfilling, and I'm not trying to be condescending at all about this question either, or about the desire to have partnership or deep romantic love, but it's just kind of reframing where that desire comes from and what it would fulfill to be more holistic and life-giving, and having a more neutralized relationship to it. Are you afraid of getting old? I also got asked the question, are you afraid of anything? And these things feel a little bit similar to me. I'm not afraid of anything except for fear itself. Yes, this is corny, but fear creates so many illusions in us. When I'm afraid, I'm attaching to things that aren't real. I'm letting narratives and belief systems rule my life that create even more fear and sadness and separation. And honestly, I am not afraid of getting old, because what does that mean? It just means that my body is changing, that people might regard me differently. But if I'm constantly acting out of love and setting up a life and a community where I'm deeply seen and understood and my gifts extend beyond my appearance, then there's no need to attach to age. So the only thing that I'm afraid of is not being deeply connected to my truth, letting the world make me feel so heartbroken that I just give up trying and caring about other people. And the more that I meet aunties and uncles, elders who have so much wisdom and grace, I feel these archetypes of older people that I want to be more like, and it makes me excited about aging and having wisdom to share and being an embodiment of love for the rest of my life. Like, I am excited because every single year that I get older, I feel more free within myself. I feel more sure of myself. I feel even more beautiful because I'm just letting my natural essence roam free, and that is such a good feeling. I would never ever want to go back to being younger than I am right now, and I don't want to rush the process of getting old either, but I just am so excited for time to continue molding me. And I have just met the most beautiful older women recently who in every single way make me feel at home and excited about being a woman. And what these women embody is just so much kindness. They're just so excited every single time they see me or any of their friends. They have so much advice and they have so much warmth, and it is like this feeling of complete nurturing and being at home. And I'm so excited to be an auntie for that reason. I'm so excited to have gray hair and be able to mentor younger women and just all of it. I'm actually really excited. So I'm excited to keep aging naturally and just having that be part of my spiritual journey. Of course, I have some attachments to my appearance and the way that I look, and as it changes, I am excited for how triggering or confronting that may be. What are some practices you've made to make you feel more rooted in the present moment? Well, one of my most favorite practices as of recently is that every single time I hang out with my friends, we invent a ceremony of some sort. We decide to do a ritual that we make up. Some of the good ones will stick and be traditions, but some of the other ones we'll just do one time. For example, picking up some water from a stream and we all pray to the water and then we pour it over all of our heads. It's very childlike and innocent, but just anchoring in any form of intention in a new way is stimulating and does drop you into the present moment. Mostly before all these ceremonies, we take some deep breaths, we feel into how our bodies are feeling, we welcome ease into our bodies, and I think just that moment to moment check-in, it's literally a vibe check that you can do throughout the day, is a great way to remain present. And usually when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I have to ask myself, am I avoiding being present right now? Like, what am I trying not to feel? And feeling all of your feelings will also help you to be more present. It'll stop you from needing to cope and numb yourself out and just sit with the heaviest thing that you might be feeling in your body, and then that will make the present moment feel a lot less scary. The present moment is scary because it is so confronting and it feels raw and maybe overwhelming, but the moment that you sit in that overwhelm and look at it and respond to it and give medicine to it, the easier it is to keep on moving forward. What does the word healed mean for you? To me, it means having very specific programs and responses to anything that hurts, whether it's self-imposed pain, like feeling deeply shameful and guilty about who I am, or if it's from external stimuli of some sort and someone completely fucking me over and then me having anxiety about it. I know how to respond to myself and to the world, and that information helps me to neutralize more quickly and return to love, act out of love rather than fear, even in the moments where I'm the most sad and depressed, that I am acting and being the living embodiment of all the lessons that I've learned. Even if I'm feeling the lowest of the low, I'm still gonna show up and be really kind to myself. And even if other people are jerks to me, I'm still gonna show up and be really kind to them. I feel like I just went hard on that. How to feel calm when we get existential. I've been feeling this so much, and once again, a sign that I've healed is now my existentialism doesn't make me feel like I shouldn't be here on earth. Now it's more like, okay, what can I do to make my time here on earth the most productive and the most positive for the collective. It's really easy to then get really curious and ask yourself questions. Well, if money wasn't an object that I needed, what would I spend my time doing? What really excites me? What do I desire to learn more about, and how can that contribute to the greater good? Being of service is the best way to end existentialism, because you're using whatever this unknowable reason that you're here is for good, and you're using some of your gifts for good. Now entering the last section of this video, the relationship section. How do you personally differentiate between romantic and sexual connection / attraction? I can feel sexually attracted to so many different people for so many different reasons, but when it comes to romantic attraction, I only feel that when I can see that I would build a stable life with someone, when I see that they have apocalypse / survival skills, and I can see us gardening and building a home and taking care of kids, and I can see that they're reliable, consistent, stable, clean, organized. It's a completely different world of like, oh, I notice that all of your value systems are completely compatible with mine. So not only do I feel attraction that can be fleeting, that can come and go, but I feel like we could grow together and we would be growing in the same direction, and that we would be symbiotic, or that maybe your karmas and the things that you're working towards are things that I'm really good at, and the things that I'm bad at, you're really good at, so we're really gonna help each other grow. That to me is the foundation of a more romantic connection. But sexually, I usually can just feel in my body arousal for someone, but that doesn't mean that we even have a good rapport. Your experience of queer dating and nomadic life, building community and partnership is hard. It is really hard. It's hard to find people that you feel so at home with. I definitely felt that the past few months, but I just love queer love. I think continuing to enter those spaces where there are tons of queer folks makes me feel so validated and understood, and like I make sense in the world, and like my ideas about love aren't so far out. As far as nomadic life, I'm nearly done with it. I'm so burnt out from traveling. It's really heartbreaking actually to constantly be starting over and ending things, and there is this sense that you can't fully start your life because you're not creating stable relationships. Unless you continue returning back to these places routinely, then that is like a lifelong community that you're building. But at least for me, I have felt like I'm not fully starting my life because I'm just starting over again and again and again, and I can't always deepen with these people. How do I process a breakup where we both still care about and value each other so much? This is so hard. I don't think that you can go through breakups alone. You need your best friends around you. You need stable, supportive love, and you need to give yourself that time, especially when it didn't end badly, and especially when you still love the other person. You need to get out of the chamber of direct contact with them. Do not contact them. Have some boundaries set up for yourself so that you don't waste your time or their time. That would be so unfortunate. So with peace and love, let them know there needs to be some space and communication apart, and keep reminding yourself why it didn't work out, and rerouting yourself into the path that you decided to take when you and this person broke up. I think that's so important. Do you sometimes feel a fear of losing something good and loving, a fear of change? And I'm just afraid that I won't handle it well, because I know it's all gonna change. So if I do even feel fear about that, I'm like, oh, let me meditate more, because I want to arrive to a place where even if this person does go, I will be okay. So let me refine and stabilize my own internal connection to myself and to God and to trust, so I'm not attached to someone's presence or absence. And I know that might sound like I'm detaching, but it's really just connecting deeper into the ultimate truth. People don't belong to us. Things are going to change. People change, and all we can do in each moment is fully and honestly show up as ourselves. And so may I have the courage to continue doing that, and may the people around me continue doing it as well, and may we always have stable forms of love in our life. For me, I know that the friends I have, I am 100,000% going to have for life, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to be in my life the same way. It doesn't mean that we're always going to see each other, may go years without seeing each other, or months, which is normally the case. But I know that the value systems that we have are so solid for each of us individually. Like the things that matter to us are not going to change, and because of that we will always be united in some way. And even if someone were to change entirely and not want the same things as me or completely not align with me in the future, I would also let that go because it clearly wasn't working out. So why would I hold on to a version of someone that isn't even present? It's all very objective. It feels very like not compassionate to think of it that way, but it actually is very compassionate to let people be who they are, give myself permission to be who I am, and know that love is an abundant matter and I never have to worry about it being gone from my life. Okay, I've answered so many questions. I feel like this video is so long. I'm so long-winded. So I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for being curious. Thank you for hearing so many of my internal thought processes and programs, and I hope you received something from it. Perhaps even just a moment of calm, but I'm so grateful to you for being here with me, and I will see you in a video soon, I hope. Bye! Thank you!